2. Ideally, by the end of these tutorials, this is what you want to end up with. There's a little Sackbot that when he stands on the ice, he gets stuck inside an ice cube, and you have to shake the controller to get him out. So, where are we at the moment? So far we're at this stage. We should have a Sackbot and a piece of holographic material that follows him around. So what we need to do now is let that Sackbot know that he is in fact standing on glass, or ice rather. To do that, I have a little tag I've got here, which I've just labelled ice. Made it a blue colour because it just seemed to make sense to me that ice is kind of blue. So what we need to put on here, I'm just going to pause this, move this out of the way. R1 again, open up your circuit board, is we're going to put a microchip. So we're going to have them doing a few different things. Oh, bizarre. It's easier and neater if we put everything into a microchip. So here we go, first microchip. Pop it in the corner there. What I like about these is you can move this around. We probably don't need that much space. Pop it there like that. In your tools bag you will find this thing here, an impact sensor, which is pretty cool, especially as when you place it and tweak it you can put a tag as a sensor. So we can go in here, back to our label, and choose ice. So now whenever, and it does need to be ice and the same colour as well as the same tag. So yeah, the tag word and the same colour as the tag we've stuck onto our ice surface. We don't want to include touching, or else anything that the ice is touching is going to have the same effect. Rigid connections you can do depending on how you've built your level, but play around for now. So we want at the moment him to stand on there. Now we want a timer, we don't want him to instantly turn into a block of ice. So we're going to grab a little timer here, shrink it down so it fits on our board. And by default I've had it set at 3 seconds. You can set it for less if you want, that's fine. I'll just wire that together to here. There we go. We're going to go back and just tweak this. It's under the input action start stop. If you leave it at default start stop, right? If you step on the ice, the timer will start counting up. If you leave the ice, it will stay there. So eventually it's 3 seconds of total touching the ice, even if you jump around or you've left the ice. So I put it on forwards backwards. So as soon as I leave the ice, it counts back down to 0 again. Now, and this is going to sound rather alarming, what we actually want to happen is when Sackbot is on the ice for too long, we want him to disappear. So we're going to put a object tweaker and a destroyer. We're just going to pop that on there as well. I'm going to tweak this, make it something, you know, dissolve, nice little cloud of smoke, or puff of smoke. We'll just wire that up to there. Okay. Now, just going to move this here so we can see what's going on. And now if I climb in, you'll see when we bring him over to the ice and he stands on it, that counter starts coming up, and then boop, he's gone. Just rewind and put that to there. Now, the other vital thing apart from your Sackbot, of course, is the block of ice that he's going to be in. So let's just clear a bit of space, put all that away, just make a little block of ice. You can use whatever material you want, I mean obviously glass, but we've now got quite a few to choose from. I've become a bit of a fan of the old glass, looks kind of nice and wrinkly. Now we want a block, it's not overly sized, so probably something about that should do. And then what I do is I make a copy of that and make this one really thin. Just place it there, and that's going to be the front of our block of ice. And then take this one, make a copy by pressing L3, scale it down using the right analog stick, and then just hit triangle to cut a section out the middle. Now, if we just unpause a second and we shift our Sackboy into the block of ice, pause it, get back out the chair, move that out of the way. I can take this along here and glue that on. So now we have our Sackbot in a block of ice. If we now grab that and pop that in our goodies bag using the capture object function. There he is. So what we want is another microchip, tools bag, simple logic, microchip. Now this one's going to go on the holographic material this time. And what we need this to do is to know that the Sackbot has disappeared because he's been on the ice, and then to emit a new Sackbot trapped inside of an ice cube. So if you remember, we have a tag sensor, or we have a tag on him so that our follower can keep up with him. So we'll shrink that down a bit, about yay size is probably fine. Same layer, no, and we just need to make sure it's the same tag. Now in this instance I know that he's purple and he's called Sackbot 2, and you'll see that he's got that purple ring emanating from him, so you know you've chosen the right one. Then we want an emitter, put one of those, choose the object, and we'll choose our block of ice. Now you kind of want him slightly above so he kind of appears and drops. It's just to make sure that he's completely clear of any slopes in the ground and anything that might sort of get in the way of him emitting. So we'll just place him there. We want linear velocity nil, angular velocity no, ignore parent velocity. We want that tick to no, so if you turn into a block of ice while running, the block of ice has the same momentum that you had. We want that frequency turned right the way down to 0, lifetime to infinite, maximum emitted at once 1, and destroy oldest when maximum emitted reached yes. I like the expand for the visual style of creating. Yeah, okay, so that's all that. Now we just wire tag sensor to the emitter. Next thing is we want to make sure this is inverted, because we want the emitter to only activate when it can't find the tag. So we'll invert output yes. So let's just grab our Sackbot out of here a second. There we go. Pop all this back down in front of him. Close that so we know what's going on. Unpause. Okay, so we jump onto this ice now. There we go. There's our Sackbot in a block of ice. Just rewind that. I'll do it again with a preview on. Ta-da! So what I'm going to look at next